Hi, my name is Wan Tingting from matech. Today, I will introduce to you the products of matech International series. matech is the first manufacturer to use tempered glass panels. Tempered glass is strong. For smooth tactile panels, we can choose transparent panels. White panel. If used in the showroom, we recommend using transparent panels. Transparent panel display module. The wiring effect is more intuitive. White panel we recommend to use at home. Avoid flashing module lights at night. In addition, we can also choose aluminum panels. It is made of aviation-grade aluminum, more high-end atmosphere. Let's take a look at the overall look. The boxes are divided into 120 and 150. So here I have a tape measure. We can measure. This is the Cecilia installation L120. This is Quozi Angel and Erga is 150. If the project site needs to deepen the box, this can be customized by contacting our sales separately. The material of the box is 1.2 cold rolled steel. Here's a vernier caliper. We can get stuck. The display 2.0 is due to the addition of the spray process. Ground zero is already included in the distribution box. There are wire entry holes on all sides of the box. Inlet holes are divided into round and rectangular. You can choose. Due to the long project cycle need to be buried in advance, we recommend that you take your products home early. So in the upper left corner of the distribution box we made a small logo, convenient for later corresponding models. There is also a sign on the back of the bracket. It says Primus Install L, convenient for everyone to find in the later stage. Are we very caring? Our distribution box also has a cooling function, but it's hidden. There is a certain gap between the panel and the bottom frame. Guarantee that there will be no hidden dangers due to overheating of internal equipment. Let me show you the internal structure. That's our slide rail bracket. You can take a look. I have a 16U slide in my hand. Why is it called a slide? Because this slide can move distance back and forth, adjust according to the actual situation of the project site. There was no magnetic strip in the original design. What happens if there's no magnetic stripe? You can take a look. The screw will slide down, but after adding magnetic strips, adjust the spacing. This screw won't slide. This is also a highlight for us. This is an I-shaped guide rail. This is our patent application. Originality is not easy. Please support originality. This is a 4U large cover. In original design, the first rail is reserved for the terminal blocks, because we recommend using terminal blocks to facilitate your wiring, including post-maintenance. If a strong electric air switch is used on the first guide rail, that big cover can't be closed. We will explain to you how to use this later. This is the small cover of the EU. Just put it on the offline shelf. Next, let me introduce the accessories in our distribution box. What I have in my hand is an independent bracket. This is a heightening pad. Use it if the mattress is empty. This is a dual-purpose expansion slot. It will be used if a fully enclosed distribution box is used. Here are two colors. This is the terminal block box to fill vacancies. The same two colors. This is what we call a cable manager. It can also be used to fill empty spaces. If the first row of the project site uses the terminal, the strong current circuit breaker, then we cover the big cover plate and see the effect. Obviously the big cover can't be covered. There will be a gap here. So now I'll show you how to use the accessories. Cover the big cover completely. Before installing our heightening pad, we need to remove our independent brackets. Next, I will explain to you how to use the height increase pad. If the first discharge to the strong electricity is empty, two heightening pads are required. You can card it, then place the heightening pad at the EU position. Then put our independent brackets on it. Long screws are required to use height increasing pads. Put our gasket on this one. Then put the screw in. Secure the screws with a gun drill. In this way, our high pad is installed. If we use terminal blocks on the first drill, then you need to discharge the power and turn it on. We have installed the height increase pad. Adjust spacing. We have screws on all sides. You can relax, then go back and turn it after loosening. On the side of this slide is a number tag. If you don't know how to align the two sides, you can take a look at this number label. Let's roughly adjust that there are nuts. We can go and swipe. Find two corresponding. At a starting position, put our screws on. Now the spacing between our guides has been adjusted. So here we go. Strong electric air switch. Now put our big cover up. See if this empty opening can be covered. Okay, now there's spacing. The first row uses a strong electric air switch. Then we need an elevation pad. You can contact our sales in advance. Prepare in advance. Next, let's take a look at a case study. You can take a look at it briefly. The first row is for regular wiring. Then use our big cover to cover it. Check the effect. In the case of not using a strong electric empty opening in the first row, the large cover can be completely covered. This is our EU small cover. Put it on the inner wire rack. Now it's a standard thin concealed package. The overall effect is like this. Here the line area can be seen. If we do a fully enclosed, do you have a solution? We introduced our dual-use expansion slot before. That's where it comes in handy. You can temporarily remove our small cover first. There is a buckle behind our dual-purpose expansion slot. Just card it directly on our independent bracket. Then put our EU cover on first. Then we took another EU cover here and put it under it. So our little cover becomes a dual-purpose cover. What I show you now is the effect of our set-of-premise installation, which is completely closed and connected. You can take a look. The standard configuration is 4 UI drills. The first reel is reserved for the terminal blocks, other installation modules. The width of each guide rail is 28p. How is 28p calculated? Take single horse empty opening as an example. One guide rail can accommodate 28 air switch single P. How much P does a module have? Then I have a ruler in my hand. We can measure. Subject to its width. This is 216 single horse empty open. Each is 18. Then 216 divided by 18 equals 12p. That proves that this module is 12 小时 osis. Okay, let's measure the module above. 72. That proves that the above module is a 4 horse module. So how do we calculate how much a guide rail can fit? That guide rail can hold 12 小时 osis. There is room on both sides. You can also add another CP module. Or you can put 2 single horse empty openings. If you say hey, so I'm going to put 2 12 horse modules. Positioning pieces can also be placed on both sides. to prevent the module from shaking back and forth during wiring and use. If the whole thing is done, there is space here. We can calculate the width on the outside. There are 6 boxes here. More beautiful, the effect will be better. In this way, everyone should know how to choose the distribution box model of matech. There's a digression. Modules for standards, including the KX system. We can install it with premise L and add an additional guide rail, make 112 circuits, but the non-standard module can only 84 loops. The wiring on this project site has been completed. We can do minor debugging in the company. Wait until the need for formal debugging can be brought to the site for debugging. Large debugging is carried out on the box that has been pre-buried in advance. The bracket is suspended from our box. Our brackets are already hung on our box. Notice that there are screws at our 4 corners. You need to fix the screws with a gum drill. Prevent the bracket from shaking back and forth. We have already explained the cabinet type. Now let me explain the internal structure of the Shirou standard rack. The internal structure of the rack type box is non-removable. Terminal blocks cannot be used, but is completely enclosed. We can take a certain lightning and make a display effect publicly. This is sucked by the magnet. Just take it off. In this way, only one part of the module is displayed and the rest is closed. I can see the baseline. Each case will have an accessory bag. A distribution box like this will be equipped with a hexagonal wrench, including the loss of hexagon screws if everyone is in use. We will also match extra hex screws, including our long panel screws and short panel screws. Snap nut including mounting panel. We have taken into account some small details. So here's the final scene, the actual effect of the installation on the wall. The wall must be smooth, otherwise there will be gaps in the middle of the panel. Can't fit perfectly. This series of products can be spliced up, down, left, and right. For example, Platinum Smart Concealed S and L can be spliced up and down. If a concealed S and a concealed L are too large, you can use 2 concealed S splicing. It can also be spliced up and down or left and right. If you spell left and right, you can tell us in advance. We can help you change it to a pair of doors. This is a Primus installation. The effect of Bougie installations up and down splicing. It can also be spliced into 4-or. But be careful, if it is spliced left and right, the same model is required. There is an incense stick at the junction of our panels. This is used to fill the gaps. Additionally, if splicing is required, please contact our sales team in advance, because our connectors need to be purchased separately. And if you splice, you should reserve the height of the connector. We will contact you separately for the specific size. I thought of meeting you in this way. I'm actually a little shy. If there is any inappropriateness in the explanation, please bear with me. Thank you all for your support to matech along the way. Accompany matech growth. Embrace our shortcomings and improvements. Originality is not easy. Please support the original. Please always support matech.